Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're doing something absolutely fascinating. We're getting a true behind-the-scenes look at the DNA of top-tier education. In this explainer, we're going to completely deconstruct a highly detailed 27-point blueprint that was specifically designed to create the ultimate 30 to 60-minute introductory cybersecurity lesson. We're taking the actual foundational prompt used to generate a premium cybersecurity masterclass, and we're just going to break it down piece by piece. You see, this isn't just about what you learn. It's about exactly how that information is structured to take someone from an absolute beginner to a competent professional. So you might want to grab a notebook, because the sheer density of this curriculum is honestly astounding. Okay, let's dive into this. We're going to unpack this massive meta document into 5 logical pillars of learning. First, the anatomy of a masterclass. Second, theory and real-world context. Third, hands-on practical application. Fourth, navigating the cyber career. And finally, AI and future scope. So, starting with Pillar 1, the anatomy of a masterclass, and specifically, the architect behind the curricular. To build a foundation this rock-solid, theoretical knowledge just doesn't cut it. The architect of this curriculum has to bring over 20 years of intense, real-world experience to the table. Just think about that for a second. 2 decades in the cybersecurity space. That means this instructor has literally lived through the evolution of the internet as we know it. They've witnessed the birth of modern digital warfare firsthand, surviving everything from the Wild West of the I Love You virus in the early 2000s right up to today's highly complex state-sponsored ransomware. And you know, those 20 years weren't spent doing just one thing. We're talking about a curriculum built by someone who embodies the roles of a senior cybersecurity engineer, an ethical hacker, a SOC analyst, a penetration tester, a digital forensics expert, a cloud security architect, a malware analyst, and of course, an instructor. It's a heavy-hitting list, right? But it establishes undeniable authority. It tells you that the person guiding this journey isn't just the theorist. They're a battle-tested veteran who has defended networks, hunted malware, and actively ethically hacked systems to find the vulnerabilities before the bad guys do. It immediately hooks you on why this specific blueprint matters so much. But actually, here's where it gets truly brilliant. Despite that massive, intimidating wall of complex expertise we just talked about, this blueprint enforces a very strict golden rule. Explain everything in very simple English so beginners can understand. This is the ultimate hallmark of mastery. Look, if you can't explain a complex concept, like say reverse engineering a polymorphic virus, simply, you just don't understand it well enough. This mandate ensures that the masterclass remains radically accessible to absolute beginners, while still delivering that professional depth that advanced learners are looking for. Moving on to Pillar 2, theory and real-world context. This is all about grounding the student. Establishing a solid baseline before anyone even touches a keyboard is absolutely critical for retention. So the blueprint demands a professional introduction, followed immediately by answering a crucial question. Why does this topic matter? Because, let's be real, if a student doesn't understand the stakes, they just won't engage. From there, it transitions into complete theory, but it never leaves that theory hanging in some academic void. It specifically pairs it with relatable, real-world examples. This builds a mental bridge for the learner, connecting abstract cybersecurity concepts to the actual headlines and massive data breaches, like the MGM or Equifax hacks that we literally see in the news every single day. That brings us to Pillar 3, hands-on practical application. This is where theory finally meets reality. Now, what's really interesting here is the juxtaposition between the learning materials and the actual keyboard practice. On one hand, you have this foundational support system, complete theory reinforced by visual explanations and text diagrams. And, visual aids are essential for mapping out complex things like network topologies or attack vectors. But on the other hand, you have the mandatory application, practical demonstrations, and live labs. The blueprint recognizes a fundamental truth. You cannot learn cybersecurity by just watching. You have to actually do it. The visual materials prep the brain, sure, but the live lab demands hands-on execution in a safe, controlled environment. And the application doesn't stop at just pressing the right buttons in a perfect, sterile lab environment. The curriculum is specifically designed to teach real-world field survival skills. It focuses heavily on industry best practices, actionable security tips, and, crucially, an entire section completely dedicated to common mistakes, like, hard-coding admin passwords into public GitHub repositories. Yikes. By learning exactly what not to do, students avoid the catastrophic pitfalls that often take down junior analysts. It turns academic knowledge into practical, street-smart cybersecurity skills. Next up is Pillar 4, navigating the cyber career. Because ultimately, the goal is turning this new knowledge into a lucrative profession. This blueprint goes way beyond just teaching the tech. It actually maps out your career progression. Step 1 immerses you in the daily professional workflow, basically what a cybersecurity expert actually does from 9 to 5. Step 2 provides a clear career roadmap showing you the long-term trajectory. But Step 3 is what makes this really unique. It includes the freelancer perspective and specific client project examples. It acknowledges that the modern cyber professional might not even want a traditional corporate job. Maybe they want to hustle independently, perform bug bounties, or consult. This masterclass prepares you for all those real-world client interactions. And this brilliantly illustrates the tangible, industry-recognized certification goals the curriculum targets. It ensures the knowledge aligns with major milestones, starting from foundational certs like CompTIA Security Plus, up to the Certified Ethical Hacker and the Practical Network Penetration Tester. It even sets its sights on elite, highly respected credentials like the hands-on OSCP and the management-level CISSP. By tying the lesson content directly to these specific certifications, the blueprint guarantees that you are acquiring exactly the knowledge that employers are actively screening for. Of course, we have to talk about the return on investment. The blueprint explicitly requires salary information to be shared. Connecting those financial rewards with the grueling hard work is a huge motivator. But it also provides the exact tools needed to actually secure that bag, specifically interview questions. Because look, it's one thing to know the material. It's another thing entirely to effectively communicate that knowledge under pressure to a hiring manager. By equipping students with the real questions they'll face, the masterclass ensures they can successfully pivot from a learner into a hired professional. Finally, we reach Pillar 5, AI and Future Scope. This is all about staying ahead of the curve. Cybersecurity changes daily. To make sure learners aren't left behind using outdated tactics, the blueprint specifically mandates the integration of new AI tools related to the topic. It requires dissecting the latest cyber attacks happening right now in the wild, and it dedicates serious time to discussing the future scoop of the industry. Students aren't just learning how to fight yesterday's wars, they are being actively prepared for how artificial intelligence is going to fundamentally change both offensive attacks, like automated phishing, and defensive security protocols in the years to come. And finally, we reach the assessment phase, and trust me, the blueprint does not let students off easy. It starts by summarizing the content and providing references, sure, but then it initiates this grueling yet incredibly rewarding gauntlet. Students are assigned homework, followed by a rigorous 20-question quiz to test their attention. But the ultimate proof of capability, execution, a mini project, and then a full project. This proves that this isn't just some passive viewing experience. It is a hands-on boot camp that acts like a final boss battle, demanding you actually prove your skills before you cross the finish line. So the overarching point is this. A true masterclass isn't just about throwing facts at a viewer. As this 27-point blueprint proves, it requires expert authority, radical simplicity, real-world context, rigorous lab work, career mapping, and a sharp eye on our AI-driven future. It's a carefully, meticulously engineered journey. So, having seen the ultimate blueprint behind this learning experience, my question to you is, are you ready to tackle the future scope and latest cyber attacks leveraging modern AI tools? It's time to take this blueprint and start building your own knowledge. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I will catch you in the next one.